Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first run at Game Over Cancer Spring 2021. Here we got Cyber Shadow, and we're running with Karterfreak today. And we got our commentary. We got Diane Keto. How's everybody doing?
Doing fantastic. Really excited to start off Game Over Cancer, and yeah, just hope that it can show everybody how awesome Cyber Shadow is here at the start of the run.
I'm actually a little nervous, but it'll be fine. I'm really happy to be able to commentate, and let's see how it goes.
Well, I'm sure we're going to have a blast, everybody. Don't you worry. All right, Carter, anytime you're ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Cyber Shadow. This was published by Yacht Club Games and made by Mecha Skull. You are a ninja, you get to slash things. It's kind of Ninja Gaiden-like at the start of the game. Sorry, go ahead. You were going to say something there?
Yeah, basically I was going to add to that. You jump around a lot, you slash around a lot, and basically you're going to gather a lot of upgrades to make your journey go faster.
Yeah, we don't start off with too much at the beginning, but there's a couple of things we can do to go a bit faster at the start. One of the things we can do is we get like these ledge boosts where we take advantage of coyote time jumps and we jump right at the edge of a ledge, and you get like this little push forward, which I'll be using a little bit at the beginning of runs. You'll see this like little bit of dust kick up around my feet when I do it correctly. Like right there, I just got one there. You just use that.
Yeah, there's
a little bit of advantage. Not very much, though.
Yeah, it's about a 4-frame advantage that gives you a push forward, and it also makes your screen jitter just a very tiny bit, so you actually notice it when you can get it. And besides that, you also have this white dust trail that leaves behind as well.
Yeah.
Now, I see running past your friend who likes to give you health as well. Is it good luck just to slash him with your sword?
Oh, you must always slash Elgian every single time. Anyone that tells you otherwise is a friend to all robots everywhere. And we've seen what happens when you're a friend to robots, right? I mean, we've seen the Mega Man series.
Oh, totally.
It's free healthcare, though. How could you just leave it there? The guy just literally spits out health at you.
We just gotta teach him to smarten up sometimes, and that we're trying to go fast here.
Yeah, we don't have time for his health. We gotta go fast. We got places to be.
Cyber's to Shadow.
So yeah, one of the things that your Carter is going for in a minute is a different thing. It's called a ledge clip. I think I'm too early with that.
Yeah, a little bit too early.
The first thing is coming up is the boss first. Gee. Green, thanks.
So this is Smasher.
Yeah.
He likes to smash the ground. And if you are underneath him when he smashes into the ground, you will die. So don't do that. I may have done that once or twice in runs. It's pretty awesome when you do. You just kind of get squished. But he drops us a large health upgrade, which completely gives us a health bar here. So now we have 6 hits instead of 5. And this room right here, I have to be pretty quick in, as it's very cycle-based.
Yeah, the thing that's coming up, he's working against the global timer, because as soon as the room starts, the global timer starts running for these platforms we've seen earlier, these brown platforms. So he's trying to get through that as quick as possible, of course.
Yeah.
But if you take too many hits, you go too slow, you miss the global cycle, and you have to wait.
Yeah, everything in this room, from the steam to the platforms, are all on a global timer, so doing it right the first time is actually a pretty big... I'm dead. No. Doing it the first time is a pretty big deal. I unfortunately messed up there and didn't make the jump up to the top platform. That's okay, though.
It happens. As you can see, it's a difficult game.
Oh, the game is immensely brutal sometimes.
Oh, definitely.
In later parts of the stage, if you make a mistake, you can either go fast or go slow. There is barely any time left for in between.
I unfortunately missed that ledge clip there as well, so I didn't get to get the fast cycle in this room, but that's okay. Not the
Yeah,
best.
basically the way how ledge clipping works is he explained a little bit about Coyote Time first, where you can get the ledge boost, where you go for 4 frames faster. You basically abuse the Coyote Time, that little time you have to get back on the platform, because it usually it prevents you going like, "Oops, I didn't jump," but in this case, we use that "oops" moment to get actually back on it. And let's see. That Paradise fight's going pretty well so far.
Yeah, I missed one slash, but that's okay. It doesn't really lose you much time. Like half a
And you
second.
clip his toenails. Yeah, I
It's his
like to
weakness.
call it like that. There's 2 certain positions when he's up there that you can just barely hit him.
I love the one attack he had where you just stood in his face and he attacked past you. That's always a good time.
If you're positioned correctly, you can actually do that entire thing without taking any damage from his shuriken throws. Like,
Wow.
there's one where you want to take damage because it's faster to do so, but you can avoid the first 2 that he throws without any issue. It's like, I think it's like, you have to be in a like near perfect, pixel perfect position though, so I don't tend to go for the second dodge. Anyway, that wasn't like the best chapter 1 ever, but that's okay. Hopefully we can show off a better chapter 2.
Chapter 2, though, is always a dangerous one for me, personally. But then again, I am playing on the different versions still.
So that was another ledge clip right there where I ended up jumping up to a platform that's supposed to be out of my reach. Now we have this annoying bug that's gonna fly around.
Oh yeah, pray to RNGesus.
So I actually learned how to manipulate him just a little bit ago to make him move down. Which you just want to kind of like zigzag underneath him, and he'll actually move down. It's pretty neat. I didn't know this. I just learned that today.
I heard it was possible by just staying underneath him. Ooh, the laser almost clipped you.
I'm potentially gonna die here, actually. I can't do a damage boost here, which is not what I want. I made some errors, but it's okay because we're still alive. We're not dead yet.
Oh man, those giant lasers give me like PTSD of Mega Man hard.
Yeah, that laser will instantly kill you if it actually hits you with the full laser.
In classic retro game fashion, of course.
Yeah, the only exception to it is the back part of the laser, which has a really strange hitbox that just deals damage. Oh, that was an unfortunate laser
I probably
beam.
should have asked for quiet there because I used audio cues for this fight.
Oh,
Doesn't really matter anyway. I messed it up again. Oh, he's dead. Alright.
well, so far we've been through quite a lot of bosses already.
Mm-hmm.
We're already 2 deaths in.
Excellent.
Everything's going swimmingly, right?
Of course.
Mhm.
It's funny because, like, in a marathon setting, you just gotta go with it, right? But if this was like a speedrun attempt, you would definitely have reset by now if you were going for a PB.
No, we're more chill than that here.
Yeah. We
Well,
relax.
speaking of Jill, we're actually in one of the 3 parts where we have an auto-scroller, which is a really exciting part in a speedrun where you can drink your tea and enjoy all the goodness that the game has to offer.
Totally.
This game actually has feats as well, and one of the feats is to avoid killing all of these bugs you see flying around, while doing the elevator. So you have to avoid all these like instant kill spikes on the walls and not die to the bugs.
And especially the miniature bugs that sometimes come up from below just have the tendency to push you in those spikes.
Yep.
Actually, is this a good moment to read a couple donations?
Yeah, go for it.
Awesome, thanks guys. All right, we got a donation for 20 bucks from Manix86. He says, "Whoa, Nelly! Donate $10 on Mermaid 3 loops and $10 towards Butts naming being Simply B."
Yo,
we have another.
Sorry, go ahead.
We have another donation from Base Guy 4 donating $10, saying, "Go Carter, go Carter, go!" And we have another $10 donation from Ahmed saying, "Go Carter. The Mega Man community gives you all the energy here. Thank you for the amazing event. Good luck with all the runners."
Let's go Mega Man community. Also, shoutouts to Rift. Rift's going to be running Earthworm Jim right after me, so definitely be sure to check that out, because it's an awesome speedrun.
Totally. That game is super close to my heart. I'm so excited to watch that.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh yeah. Never been able to beat that one level where you're underwater and you just whack your glass off of all the rocks.
Oh man, that level's so hard.
I'm like an adult now and I still can't do it.
So this is Scrambler. For this guy here, you want to try and avoid his attacks. All of his attacks have like a position where you can stand where you won't get hit by him. Like for when he slams the ground and he like makes those flames go around him, you can actually jump right as he slams the ground and avoid the attacks. Which I only managed to do once there, but you can do that entire fight without taking any damage and just constantly be on the boss, which looks awesome when you actually pull it off. Always remember
and
to
Scrambler.
Legion.
Oh, sorry.
I was saying always remember to slash Legion too. Don't forget that.
So to say, you know better.
I'm gonna try for an
Scrambler.
interesting ledge clip here. See if I can pull this off.
Ooh,
Hey,
that new ledge clip. Ooh, that was really nice. Personally, I don't still try to go for it because I always get hit by these green flying eye orb thingies that I have no clue how they're named yet. I don't think we actually still know all the names of all the enemies. We know quite a few, but some of them are still unknown, and they're slowly being released on the Discord by the developers as emotes as well.
You can just call it Spherical Robot Guy or something. I always just kind of give them my own, name. I never actually name enemies the proper name. It's the same thing with Mega Man. Like, I know there's a name for them, but like every time that I run into a lyric or something like that, I'll just say that yellow guy.
Yeah, there's probably a list out there that if we would make up names for these guys, we would have quite the amusing names for them. I mean, I have things like aimbot in this game, which are coming up actually in Chapter 4, which is the chapter after this one.
So this chapter, unlike the last chapter was very psycho-based, but this one is very ledge clip-based. You're going to be seeing a lot of spots where I'm going to be using ledge clips to save time. Kind of like the one that I used at the beginning of the chapter. I could use one here, but I'm just going to do a safer one. And yeah, it's much more prominent in this chapter, just because this is like the point where we still don't really have most of our abilities yet. We have Shuriken and Rising Fire as like our only abilities currently. And we won't really be using Rising Fire except for bosses.
Yeah, and currently I noticed you actually have full SP, but Chapter 3 is also the start where you start to learn SP management, where you can't just use all your shurikens all willy-nilly just to destroy everything in your path. You actually have to take note in the upper left corner, the blue bar, where you're going to use your abilities. Like in this next upcoming section, you have two enemies jumping towards you, and you can either use a shuriken or you can use a damage boost to get over it, to get to the first boss of this third chapter, which is Hunter Tank, which, looks kind of neat. It has 3 cannons, a giant cannon on top of it, and we're trying to bash his brain in. Which seems to be going excellent right now.
Yeah, that was a really good fight.
That was a really good fight, yeah.
This is another part that's, again, cycle-based. So, depending on how fast I did this entire gigantic room, these guys will be shooting at different times, which can potentially mess you up. A lot of these rooms are on global timers, or global room timers, which can really mess you up if you don't do everything just right.
Yeah, it's the same for the jumping over that second pit. If you don't get the ledge boost there, you need to do a turnaround damage boost to even make the jump. Or you have to, of course, wait. But we're not doing that in this game.
What's waiting? We go fast here.
It's all about the speed.
I'm just
Until you
like
jump
watching
into it.
intensely.
It's all about the speed until you just jump into a pit.
Ooh, nice death spike.
Actually, guys, I got an awesome donation here if I can read that one out again.
Go for it.
All right, we have $250 from Faffy Faff
Yo.
saying game over cancer hype. Always looking forward to these. Also, we be playing Halo 3, boys.
Oh, that's a big one.
That'll be
I
awesome to
know.
watch.
We also got $10 from WinFox470 saying hashtag Bowserker.
So with just a few ledge clips remaining, Carter's actually heading towards the final boss of Chapter 3, which is Biohunter. And it's actually one of the first times, it's the second time where he's going to buy a different item, a sub-weapon that's going to help him clean out this boss pretty quickly. And as you can see, it's a giant spinning knife yo-yo thingy, which is called a swag blade, which might not, or might be in reference to a certain someone.
Swag blade, best blade.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can see, I started using Rising Fire here, and Rising Fire does a ton of damage to bosses.
I was gonna say, where did he go? He showed up for a moment.
Yeah, so
Rising.
the slash itself does 1 damage, and then each fireball does 1 damage as well. So you hit him for 4 damage every time I do a Rising Fire.
Yeah, now you just unlock the ability to, go really fast in a vertical motion, which is what we call the pogo. Because this sword now became a pogo stick. We basically downward stab from above, and if you want to go really fast, you just have to do an extra input, and it basically makes you look like you're gonna zip forwards. A great way to display that's coming up in a minute.
Yeah, you're gonna see me just kind of zoom to the bottom of this waterfall. So we have the Monkey Shrine coming up here, and this shrine kinda is a pain in the butt when you're doing this with the Swag Blade, because the Swag Blade can break boxes on you, and you actually want boxes here. So I need to make sure I do very particular movement and hit the Swag Blade at a certain period of time to not have it destroy a box that I need here.
Because the boxes basically give you the just the amount of space you need to just reach the next floor really quickly.
Yeah, I just actually almost hit it, which would have sucked, but we got it, so everything's fine.
That's really nice.
So yeah,
like double pogo. Sorry.
one of the things I wanted to mention about Pogo as well is it actually increases your jump height a little bit too. When you do it, you get a little bit extra vertical height. So you'll end up using it a couple times where if like your normal jump wouldn't be enough, you can use that to just jump a little bit higher and clear ledges that otherwise are just too high. Also, Diane, would you like to explain like how SP works in this game?
Basically, every time you use an ability, you use up one of your SP, one of your juice boxes. And earlier in the run, we actually grabbed an upgrade for that. As you can see in the upper left corner of the screen, there's a blue bar there. So every ability you use, every shuriken or Rising Fire or Airstrike, it all costs SP. Did I miss
Another
anything?
management
No, you
need
got
to
it.
do.
Yeah,
So
it's
that has
basic-
to be something that you watch as you play through the game when you're kind of like, especially if you're dealing that much damage to bosses, you're going to need to make sure that you manage that as you play, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, there's management involved. Sometimes you get lucky and get an extra drop so you can perform an extra move. But more often than not, you're relying more on your skill to get through things. Like, for example, he's slashing this guy right now. And the thing is, you can also use an airstrike to kill him quickly. But it costs SP, and the SP is something that you need later on, for example, to make a blue pillar, giant blue-eyed pillar, go down quicker. So sometimes we opt to save that SP, like this pillar, for example, to get it down faster. Because with the added power to it, to our airstrike, Yeah, it goes down fast. I was trying to think of something, but it basically there's a difference between the unpowered and the powered version. The powered version uses SP and actually uses up does usually more power, and the powered. I can't English tonight.
That's okay.
So the part I just finished there, anyone that's played this might be wondering, wait, why did the door go down? And the answer is, I don't know. That door, I didn't actually finish that room correctly at all. But when you hit the first switch, it just says, okay, well, you're done. And lets you just kind of advance. So we skipped like half that cyber room.
Yeah, it skips the ending cutscene for the cyber dive room as well. Usually you see after you finish a cyber dive room, it just ends with a giant bang and explosions, and then the door opens. But we just skip all that. Let's see how we are getting with the next couple of rooms. Because if you see these miniature squid enemies that Carter just passed right now, they actually spawn in random locations. Currently, they're still in a fixed position, but later on in the chapter, you have no idea where they're going to spawn. And that makes sometimes timing for getting through a room really annoying, because they can be quite in the way a lot. And here we have one of those snake enemies as well. And they really like to be how do you call that in English properly?
Random?
Yeah. Thank you. I was trying to think of something more complex, and you know what? Sometimes random is just the way to go.
Yeah, speaking of random snake enemy.
This guy. Oh, we just love him.
Yeah. Good old Snakey.
We are always like, oh, please let us pass, and then he just goes up and, you know, like, okay, not today then.
Yeah, actually a lot of players will just damage boost off of him for that exact reason. That's not what I want.
Yeah, but even then, it's still not guaranteed. Ooh, that was really nice. That's probably the fastest way to go through that entire room, just using pogos all the way. So the enemies you see right here are actually behaving quite a lot today, so that's a good thing to have.
I'm on HP. Everything's fine.
Ooh.
I need that money.
We're living on a dream.
Alright,
Yeah,
and
what?
We're coming into everyone's favorite boss in the speedrun.
RNG Snake.
Oh my god, it's
2.0.
Ceres.
Oh yeah, no wait, it's official name Mecha Dragon. Now we have no clue where he's going to end up. He either spawns on the left side, on the right side, and well, you can deal with left or right snake, that's no problem, but you have these floating platforms, because you can't deal damage from the water, and these floating platforms are RNG based too.
That just sounds like a good time.
Oh, it's a
Yeah,
fantastic
it's
time.
great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna get a recycle. No.
Oh, close.
So the best
This
you
is-
the best you can get here is like a 2-cycle. You want to try and get a 2-cycle if possible. But unfortunately, my positioning wasn't very good for my rising fire slashes, so I didn't end up getting a 3-cycle or 2-cycle. But I mean, four for a marathon's not bad.
3 or 4 is actually just fine. Sometimes you can get really unlucky with your, like you said, with the rising fire placements, and that just it doesn't help. The falling platform enemies get eaten, for example. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff going on. So moving on. Actually, we're now hitting one of those Final Fantasy crystals you see here, and trying to get ninjas out as fast as possible. And they spawn on different locations, and you see where they're going by the top flame, so you can follow their trajectory and intercept them as they're falling, because when they're on the ground, they parry every attack you have until they lower their guard.
I'm actually not gonna lie. I didn't know they went to the top flames. I just literally intercepted them when they're coming down. I learned something new.
Hey, all's good, all's fair and good in love and war.
Oh, jeez.
No, that's actually how I keep track of their pattern. You can literally see when they spawn where they're going to move. So if you're unlucky, they go to the leftmost part and the rightmost part, and you're like, okay, good. Guess I'm doing this now. This is also another difficult room where you have to go through, and Carter, as you can see, is taking the blaster with him. And one of the things sub-weapon can do is go through walls, as you can see. And that is a very convenient ability to have, especially if you're trying to get to a certain skip, which is quite infamous because the sub-weapon only has 3 health, which you can see in the top left corner.
Yeah, the 4 orange bars.
Yeah.
Or 3, sorry.
Yeah, the 3 orange bars there, and they determine the health of the sub-weapon, so you can only get damaged 3 times before the sub-weapon dies. And he's trying to take this entire sub-weapon through almost an entire chapter just to open the door quicker. So we can skip another, I think it was 25, 30 seconds or something.
Crazy.
It's at least a crazy amount of time you can skip.
And it's crazy to watch too, compared to the beginning of the game to even now, how much heavier it is on movement too. So having something like that and wanting to carry it for so long for such a large time skip is super important and really skilled to do.
It's also really hard to keep track of all the things that's going on. So I'm going to go through a little bit because right now he's actually getting a parry ability. I'm going to dive in that a bit later, but so far we've already gathered Shuriken, we've gathered Rising Fire, Airstrike, extra attack power, and now we've also got the parry ability. And parry ability basically means that if you tap towards a bullet or a projectile that's coming towards you, it turns into a energy ball, and then you can basically deflect that. And it has this very special property that if you do it as close to you as possible, you actually get SP back as well, which can of course be really useful, but it's really difficult to do.
Yeah, it's called a perfect parry, according to Mecha Skull, if you end up pulling that off.
Would you say it's like really a 1-frame trick, or just like a really tight window like that?
It's really tight
window.
It's
a really tight window.
Crazy.
So far the skip is going perfectly fine. He's dodging and weaving and avoiding everything so far.
Yeah,
and these purple enemies is just a pain in the butt sometimes.
It's really, really important that I actually get through here without taking too many hits. Like, taking 1 hit's fine, but I really want to make sure that I get through this without losing this weapon, because the time save just from getting this to that point is really, like, it's really significant. You end up saving
yourself... It's worth it slowing it down. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you end up saving yourself having to go across the entire room that I'm going to be going here. Like, there's a room you have to go all the way around and hit a button for. And we don't want to do that because it's really slow.
Yeah, we're almost actually to the part where we can use it. But of course, since you've obtained the ability to parry, of course we're going to have to use it in this entire chapter. Okay, we actually got through. That's nice. That's nice.
That was very clean. That was awesome.
So yeah, this button here, this is what we would have to go around the entire room for, but we have this weapon, so we can just kind of hit it and be on our merry way. There is a new thing I haven't learned how to do yet, where you can end up actually carrying that weapon even further and saving even more time. But because I haven't learned how to do that, I'm just going to take damage off this guy here, just so he throws me a little faster. And lets me go into the next section quicker, because he'd sit there and like kind of like choke the life out of me. Think like Baby Metroid and Super Metroid.
That's the closest explanation you can get, yeah.
So is this fight kind of similar to like say Mega Man X1, where you're fighting Vile, where it's kind of like that perceived you can win, but you can't actually?
Exactly. But instead of fighting it, Vile just immediately chokes you.
Yeah.
Mm. Also, that seems really risky. Our little friend that we like to smarten up once in a while tried to offer you some more life past your 1 unit, and we just ran away.
Yeah, about that.
It happens.
I'm gonna blame myself on that one. I am sorry.
No, but the reason why we don't grab the health there is because in the next room you can grab those boxes, lanterns. They give you the health that he gives himself, and if you take his health, you get actually less health, I think. Because he only drops 2.
Crazy. Yeah, that's aggressive.
Yeah, I unfortunately did that pogo slightly too low, so I ended up taking damage instead of killing the enemy, but it happens. So I'm going to try and get some perfect parries here. I got 2 of them. That just gives me a bit of extra SP to do this next fight. I'm also going to be picking up an SP dispenser, which will start feeding me SP, which will be really, really useful for bosses.
Oh yeah, free SP is always a blessing to have in this game.
Unfortunately, I've missed all my parries. I didn't die though, so everything's great. So that fight, the goal is to kind of Ganon the guy and parry his projectile back at him.
Have we actually mentioned how broken parries are in this game? It's absolutely busted.
Parries are incredibly busted in this game.
You deal so much damage, so it's often wiser to parry something from a boss and deal the damage back to him. Which is, of course, going to be a mandatory fight later on.
Everything's fine.
Ooh, purple blob. Stalker, please, go.
Oh, that's rude.
I have a friend right now.
He just wants a hug.
Yeah, he might get it if I'm not careful.
Oh, he's really trying.
Everything's fine. We just took our friend for a little ride, that's all.
Gotta walk our red orb. Purple orb.
Yeah, the purple stalker orb is one of the scarier things that you're going to encounter because it's basically forced. So this is already Subject Alpha Fight 2, and the key here to fight him is, as you can already see, it's doing a lot of parries, but we discovered a way where we can just basically ignore all those parries and just dump on his eye using, of course, the famous airstrike, which does a lot of damage to him.
Yeah, you can one-cycle that boss, but it's a little hard. Unfortunately, I've been...
Are you gonna spare him?
Yeah, I'll spare them today.
Okay, that's a good thing.
But our actual friends don't get so lucky.
I've been having a little bit of trouble with parries today. I don't usually miss that many parries, so this has been a little bit of a spicy run.
The way we like it, extra spicy.
Yeah. I mean, that's perfect for a marathon, right? You have to have all the spice for the marathon.
Exactly.
Well, at least we're now finally unlocked. Because in this Falcon Shrine, we finally get the purple orb we wanted for so long. Which is the dash ability.
30 minutes in
the
the game.
That's the last one they'll hand you in a speed run.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also the most fun ability to use in this game. So we now have the ability to do a dash strike, which, if I end up killing something with that dash strike, will refund me SP as well. And one of the things we kind of didn't mention is that there's a difference between like having SP when you do an ability versus not having an SP. So if I have SP, I'll dash further, and like a lot of things will work differently. Like my down strike will do more damage. My rising fire will fire out fire instead of just being an upward slash, like all that kind of stuff. So like abilities do have non-SP versions too, but it's really important for dash to have SP because it just lets you chain these better dashes over and over and over.
If you have SP and you can dash, you can just basically infinitely chain as long as there are enemies or objects that you can chain on. Because even the objects, like here, give back SP if you dash through them. So this is the part where it actually unlocked the true game. Of course, with the dash going fast. And this is also what we're...
precise jumps there too.
Mm-hmm.
So you even have to be really careful of where you're dashing to make sure you're picking up that extra SP as you go.
Yeah, just to continue on what Carter said, if you have an SP version dash, you go further. You basically deal more damage, but you also go further, and you can change stuff. But if you don't have SP and you use the dash, you have a different kind of distance. So sometimes, ooh, that was close. So sometimes you have to factor in when you have SP and when you don't before you actually judge to make your dash count, for example. It looks a bit, yeah, Carter looks pretty right fine. And in this chapter, there's a bunch of alarms going off, but we go so fast, we just can't ignore it. Except for this room where we can just generate a lot of SP dashing through everyone and everything. Ooh, that was unfortunate. It happens. But yeah, triggering the alarm triggers a lot of turrets, triggers a lot of flying enemies, triggers something that looks like Samus doing a screw attack, which does a lot of damage. I mean, we have people called it the Eye of Sauron, we have people calling it the screw attack, and so far I'm actually for Team Samus on this one.
Alright, I need quiet for this part just so I can hear stuff.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay, we're good. Yeah, I
Nice
needed to hear the audio cues for the parries because if I miss those parries, then that fight can go real bad real quick.
A lot of these fights seem like they can start going real bad real quick at this point.
Oh, they do. They also start doing more damage. Like everything gets stronger, but you don't gain more defense as you continue on. Basically, you're still the same old Shadow. So, yeah, the game gets progressively harder as you try and get more health upgrades to soak up all that damage.
Yeah, pretty much everything at this point in the game hits for at least 2 damage and usually 3. Speaking of things that'll hit me for pretty much all my health, this head.
Oh yes, this wall head. He can shoot out a bullet and it literally does 3 damage, but Carter just makes quick work of the guy.
Well, let's hope that I can make quick work of the second one, because the second one's the real pain. So,
yeah,
you thought...
he has moving platforms.
Yeah, you thought the original Snakehead was bad? Snakehead 2.0 right here.
This guy is so magnificent, but if you can at least parry his bullets, you know if you get hit by it, it deals 3 damage. So if you parry it, yeah, that's gonna do a lot. Oh, that went well. Nice.
Yeah, those are some mean little lemons there.
Oh, if I wish they were lemons. That would make it a lot easier. But
Okay.
the wall that Carter also made quick work of also has the same shooting capability. Except times 3 in a more compact form.
So this is arguably the hardest chapter in the game, I should also mention. So I have to be really careful here, because so many things hit for 3 damage here. And just the enemy placements are very mean.
Outskirts is where usually runs go to die. Chapter 7 and Chapter 8 are one of the worst possible things you can die on. We got an SP tank. You see these flying skulls here? They deal 3 damage. You had Big Mama Rustfly that tries to obstruct your way. You have these gas bubbles that deal 2 damage. And we're trying to dash through them as much as possible. And then we have to wait for timing for the gas, while actually the SP defensor is continuously refueling our shadow dashes, so we can, of course, perform the most powerful dash as fast as possible. And this is really nice.
Yeah, so far this has actually been a pretty good Outskirts.
Oh, Carter, why are you doing this to me? I always hold my breath when he's not killing those flies while he's going up there.
I gotta make it spicy, we talked about this.
It's what we call in the business pro strats.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, this is one of those other forced cyber dive doors. You basically get to the real meat of the game, which is called Cyber Shadow, but we go through it so fast, you don't have to cyber much, but basically leave the shadow behind. But it's used to unlock this door to gain our extra abilities. Basically, we have a giant, floating, wish-granting dragon.
Shenron, is that you?
Yeah, exactly. Is that Shenron? Maybe? So what he does is, well, you know, we have all these orbs of powerful abilities that we've gathered, and he just upgrades them all in one quick shebang. So now he can double jump, which is arguably the most useful upgrade we get from this. Yeah, and we have Charge Slash, which allows us to actually beat through level 3 doors. You've seen those doors earlier with like blinking lights on them. Now we have the ability to charge up our slash, deal extra damage, and we just need that to get through the door.
Kind of funny how they line it up that some of the last abilities that they'll hand you in the game is your dash and your double jump, just to make sure you can't cheese anything too much along the way.
Right.
Otherwise, we go from chapter 3 to chapter 9 in an instant.
Yeah, actually, Stryzer had been looking into a way of skipping like a large majority of this game, and it would have worked if it wasn't for the fact that we don't have a way of getting past one level 3 door in chapter 10, because you need the level 3 strike. Everything's fine.
Ooh, that was so close. This room is basically no joke. This is the true start of chapter 8, where you basically time off everything if you want to continue your speed and your momentum. Because as you can see, you have these purple fire blades things, the pink fire, sorry. I always call them purple for some odd reason. But they get bigger as you get closer to them. They deal 3 damage, so, you know, you quickly die to them. But if you get hit once in the previous room, basically you get hit by an instant death spike. The room is littered with it. So you try to get through as fast as possible to avoid all the spikes as possible. And this is one of the... Yeah, this is the last Cyber Dive room to unlock EXO, which is, I think, our second auto-scroller section. And EXO is actually our great trolling friend that is now a motorbike.
I mean, what kind of ninja game is this without a motorbike section? You have to have a motorbike section in your ninja game.
It is one of the best things I personally think the game has to offer. It has a great soundtrack too. I didn't even mention the amount of time and effort they put into the music for this game, because it just feels so right every time you get to a certain section. Sorry, that's just me gushing about music.
No, I mean, I agree with you. Most of the music in this game is, like, for lack of a better term to go at Twitch, it's all cat jam as hell. It's super good.
Oh, music in a video game can make it. I'm always down to gush about music in a game.
Oh, actually, I'm gonna ask Carter for this. I think he probably changed it a few times already, but what is actually your favorite track in this game so far?
I think it's still Chapter 3.
Oh, that's definitely a good choice. I'm still stuck between Combinatron or Tunnel Cleaner.
Chapter 3 and Chapter 4, I like both of those.
But yeah, we have, like I mentioned before, another auto-scroller section, which we do on a bike. I think we're missing one piece of transportation in this entire game. I think Mecha might have thought about it.
So, I was mentioning before, there's feats in this game, right? Which are basically achievements. One of the achievements is actually beating this entire bike section without taking a single hit.
Oh yeah, don't scratch the paint.
That seems really hard.
Yeah. Right.
It actually is, because the Turbo Tunnel kind of reminds you of Battletoads. Because those enemies that drop walls, yeah, they do a lot of damage too. I think it was like 4 or 5 or something? I don't know, they killed me a bunch of times before I actually learned how to get through it.
This is arguably the hardest part of the game coming up here. And I already died to the wall. Whoops. Yeah, some things did not go as planned there.
It happens. But the wall here, you have flying enemies, you have bombers from above, you have green enemies, everything is literally trying to kill you here. Seriously, because even the floor is lava. Literally.
I need to not die here. I'm gonna be really careful. And I still died because I didn't do down stab. No. So normally I have at least 1 SP here, which is kind of messing me up a little bit. Okay. Oh no, please not again. Whatever, the door's already down, so we're good. We're good.
The SP refresh is really nice here. You can just continue on, chain it, and then get into the EXO part 2. Which is basically a bunch of damage boosting, but your bike just transformed into a giant robot that can now shoot stuff. So instead of firing from his eyes, he just now fires from his arm gun thing.
Oh yes, the staple in all ninja games.
Yeah, you always have to have a mech in ninja games too.
Totally.
A giant
Motorbikes,
shooting
mechs.
robot. Who doesn't want a giant shooting robot? Be fair, come on. But yeah, the things we discovered is those shields only do 1 damage when you run into them, instead of taking bomb damage, which is 2 damage. So we can just quickly jump on those shields and just continue on our merry way. And then everybody's favorite part here is the mashing airship. You mash, he dies. Simple, right?
So interesting thing, there's actually a limit on how fast you can mash in this section too. I've tried to mash at my max speed, and if you try to, you actually go slower.
Yeah, you need to time your mash.
Yeah.
I discovered that, I think, a week ago-ish. I tried to go as fast as possible. Like, there gotta be a trick to beat this guy faster, right?
I think I discovered that like my second playthrough because I tried to mash as fast as I possibly could, and I was shooting really slow.
Yeah, I'm not a natural masher, so I take more time trying to figure out other ways. But yeah, this section is all about...
Oh my God.
Ooh!
What am I doing?
Yeah. That's okay. But the second section is all about trying to dodge enemies, get rid of the purple fire before you actually reach them. And sometimes it can be a real pain in the butt, especially the green enemies. They come up from behind you, as you saw earlier, which Carter has to do a small turnaround, shoot a few times, and get rid of them.
Yeah, and I didn't do that there. I may have also not shot certain things that I was supposed to have shot there. That was one of those, this has never happened before moments for me. I don't think I've ever actually died in that part in a run. That's a new one. Marathon luck, we'll call it that.
Perfect.
But yeah, we made it, we're safe, we just got full health, right? So everything's gonna be fine.
Am I good to jump in with another handful of donations?
Yeah, go for it.
Awesome, guys. Thank you.
Did we lose the donations?
I think our host just died.
Oh no.
Same fate as EXO! No! F in chat for EXO. Poor guy just carried us all the way here, and the only thing he did was die.
With Cyber Shadow. Good luck to Carter, all runners as well. Let's smash some goals this weekend. Next, we got Ministry Prango. Says, good luck to all runners. Hashtag kill the animals. And then last one is a large one. We got a $100 donation from Deadlink, saying good luck to Carter in one of my favorite games of 2021 so far. Let's kick cancer's butt.
Okay, well that one was kind of expected. So that's probably the hardest room in the game.
I purposely stayed quiet for that. I knew you needed to focus there. That room is such a death loop room. What Carter is trying to do is he's trying to avoid triggering the alarm early while trying to avoid all the enemies. And as soon as he triggers the alarm, the turrets from the top come about above, and you fly over that with the dash to kill the turrets. But then the charge attack Samus thing is trying to go for you, and then you have this enemy that has a purple bullet that travels with you perfectly vertically. So if you jump and don't parry, you die. But Carter just got through it fine, so it's okay.
They really throw you through the gauntlet at the end here too. Just throw everything at you.
Oh, come on. This is arguably, like, other than Outskirts, this is probably the hardest section in the game. Just because this is like non-stop having to deal with really high damage enemies all throughout this entire section.
Yeah, even for me, it's going so fast, it's hard to explain what's going on, because basically for every second there's like 3 things I can explain. But basically, dodge and weave, smile and wave. Dodge and weave, smile and wave.
There's also a ton of enemies here that will just knock you into instant kill spikes, so you have to be really careful about that too.
Oh yeah, that's Chapter 8's favorite thing to do.
Yeah, and they're everywhere, especially in this section that I'm coming into now. Every single spike that you see on the ground will instantly kill me.
Nice berry.
I had to go for it.
You went for it.
I had to.
Oh!
I had to.
Yeah, you can just basically use the first aimbot to actually get through there.
Alright, we'll go the safe way this time.
Yeah, let's go in above. Oh yeah, you have plenty of SP. So for this section, you really want SP to use to chain your dashes at the top of the screen, as you can see, with the floating dudes right there.
Okay, and with that, we're through the hardest part of the game. So yay! I can relax a little bit now.
Yeah, that was definitely always stress-inducing if you try to go faster. Especially at the end, because you dash 2 enemies, and if you fail on one of them, or just miss your height, the aimbot will snipe you. And then you end up in the water, and you get electrified, and you're basically gonna have a lot of bad time. But right now we're in the chapter where we have the dogs, and this chapter is basically made out of dashes until you get to the boat, which is of course one of our favorite sections again. At least it has good music. But if you look carefully at where Carter is right now, you might actually see some parts left over, remnants from the hunter tank we just killed earlier. It's not the same tank, obviously. But it's parts. It's going to be made, trying to stop us.
All right, this was a pretty good docks. Yeah, that last chapter that we just finished there, that's a 10-minute slog of just really hard screens, so that can either go really good or really bad in a run. There's not usually an in-between. This is another auto-scroller section here. We're chilling on a boat.
Don't get on my boat, which is also one of the feats you can unlock here. Basically, if you want to go for that feat, you're not allowed to have anything land on your boat, which is coming through the air. And you have a pretty big signal coming from behind telling you where they're going to go. So it's either on the left side or the right side. But the most annoying part on the boat section is if you mess it up a little. As you can see, those guys, they drop their tank, their jetpack, and it leaves behind purple flames. And yeah, they last for quite a while, if you haven't noticed yet. And that makes positioning sometimes really difficult. So the thing you want to do is get rid of them as quickly as possible so their tank drops to the ship at a certain time or location where at least you have control over the situation.
Fast boat, let's go. So there's a thing with the boat where after you finish that entire section, sometimes that boat just takes forever and nobody knows why. You can end up waiting an extra like 10 seconds there just because the boat decides it wants to go slow.
I have tried literally a ton of things, but I just think it might be seed-based or something. So this is another one of those bosses where we absolutely abuse parry as much as possible. He shoots missiles from the top out of his back, and those missiles deal a ton of damage, but because you parry them and hit him with it, you just basically shred him in seconds. As you can see right now, because we're already through. Which is, I have to point out, really amazing, because Combinatron, if you're not practiced to that fight, you basically have to defeat both of his hands before you can actually bash the rest of his skull, because he heals! Oh,
I had to go for it.
Yeah, I'm not blaming you.
I'm going to try again. So there's a really fast strat on this screen that looks really cool when you pull it off, so I'm going to see if I can get it.
It's really amazing. It actually abuses the downwards descent of the airstrike.
I kind of got it.
Gotten earlier.
So we'll take that. We'll take it. Oh goodness. Oh, what's happening?
Careful though. Careful though.
Yup. We're good. Don't worry about it.
That green enemy had me worried there for a second. Oh, he still bashes you. Oh, it's such a troll guy.
Again. Okay, yeah. So this screen, I need to make sure I do right too. This is another set of hard screens because there's a lot of just instant kill stuff here. The way you're supposed to do this screen normally, you end up not having, like, you end up waiting for an elevator, but that's slow, so we don't do that.
We just chain our shadow dashes as much as possible and just basically fly through the entire room that is literally prepared for us to do that.
Yep.
Oh, nice. Free SP too.
A lot of these screens are designed in a way so that you can do them fast if you know how to. But they're very dangerous to do so.
That's why we do them. Yeah, there's a couple of things we can do while waiting for the doors to go down. As you can see, we're hitting a few buttons and we have to wait. There's two things you can do. You can either parry those shots and kill the enemy on the right, or you can try and defeat these enemies and get SP as much as possible, which is both very beneficial to have before you end up in the spider rail fight, which we are going to make quick work of. The best way to defeat this guy is to use charged slashes. And actually, one of the charged upgraded abilities, which is a kunai, which just, for some reason, completely ignores the iframes of the boss if you throw the kunai into his eye.
I missed the parries there. No.
That's okay.
It's okay. He dies in one more hit anyway. So there's actually a faster way to kill that guy than what I was doing there, where you can have him go into a vulnerable phase a little bit earlier. I don't know how to do it, so I can't unfortunately pull it off for this marathon, but that was still a pretty good kill.
It was pretty fast. And basically we're up to one of the toughest sections of the entire game. which is the climb, as I call it, which is, if you thought you had everything RNG'd, you see these purple flying robots. They love you. They fly into you for no unforeseeable reason while their AI is programmed to fly away from you. So basically what you're trying to do in the first section of the climb is to try to go through it as fast as possible while relying on an RNGable unit, trying to use your pogo mechanics as fast as you can. And this is basically amazing. He did the third room, did perfectly. So the climb basically has 3 strats, and now we're already at the part of the end game, which we have one last fight with the apparator left. And this poor man doesn't even know what's coming for him, because we basically melt him using chain shadow dashes. And that was the first part. Let's see.
I threw that too early. No. I almost got the music bug there. If you kill the second form too quickly, the music for the final boss doesn't play.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and as you can see, we have basically broken 2 of the 3 orbs, and we're purposely leaving the right orb alive just to get a little bit of extra height using the pogo, because it has a hitbox. We can hit it, we jump upwards and deal the final boss some extra damage just by pogoing. So we jump, pogo, and then just slam him in the face. And, well, because we broke the orbs earlier, we get extra upgraded abilities like shields and platforms and extra damaging fire, but we only need it once, and then he dies. That was an amazing fight. And a really quick clip display. This is actually basically GG. There's just one part left. We can all relax now.
I like how this the AI here tells you stay behind me, but then you can't actually get away from it. It'll just teleport right to where you are.
Yeah. The AI, even in its last moment, still desperately tries to protect you.
And then despite all the times we slashed Legion through this entire run, he still comes to save us.
He's a true hero. So the moment we've been fighting through the entire game for comes now as we turn into a glorious Super Saiyan. Am I allowed to say that? I think I am. Because the last thing we need to do is unlock our master, which is behind closed bars. And this is what we've been fighting for the entire game.
And time. It was a 102.46, not bad.
Nice, that one crept right up on us. GG.
Just to put it in perspective, a 102 run is still a really good run, even though there were some unfortunate moments there. It's really hard to get to such a time.
I've got a 58.35 right now, and that still has mistakes in it. So like this run is really, really hard, because if you make any mistakes, depending on where they are, like you can lose minutes. It's no different than most speedruns where like just any kind of death is just gonna really impact your time.
Mm.
But yeah.
All right, guys, that was awesome. Was there any thanks or shout-outs you wanted to do?
I just want to give a shout out to the Cyber Shadow community and also to the Mega Man community, because you guys have been super awesome and supportive. Everybody's been really fantastic, and just I honestly wouldn't be speedrunning without you guys. So seriously, thank you a lot.
Awesome. You want to say anything, Diane?
I was just basically listening and appreciating the end screen of the game. But yeah, I also want to do a shout out to the Cyber Shadow community and the speedrunning community. You guys are wholesome. you've basically helped me also through certain harder times. So keep it up, guys. You guys are awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the run, everybody. All right, we will go to a quick little intermission while we get ready for our next run, which will be Earthworm Jim. All right, don't go anywhere, anyone.